Perfect storm. Is it a buyer's or seller's market? Up next on the Giblin Report. Welcome to the Giblin Report. I'm Assemblyman Tom Giblin, representing the 34th Legislative District, which includes Clifton, East Orange, Montclair, and Orange. On today's show, I'm pleased to welcome Barbara Hughes, Realtor salesperson with Village Square Realtors. Welcome, Barbara, to the Giblin Report. Barbara, you've been a realtor for, I guess, most of your adult business career. What's it take to become a realtor, and what's involved, educationally or schooling? Maybe you kind of bring us up to the.
Sure.
What prompted you even to move into this profession?
The loss of another job. I just realized this week that it was 25 years ago today that I first took my licensing test for the state to become a realtor, and it was after a job loss and downsizing in the city. They had told me we were going to all need new job training, and also almost on a lark, I went on an interview to become a realtor, found out I had to take a quick 2-week course, pass the licensing test, and get going, and just hit the streets looking for listings and buyers, and I've never looked back. So 25 years later, I'm still doing it.
Typically, the course is today is what, somewhere like around 100 hours?
It's still 75 hours for the basic licensing course, and then most companies offer sales training. Teach you how to talk to people, learn about the areas. There's a lot of technique versus practice. Companies will bring you aboard, show you how to do open houses, do
exposure to the profession.
Help with the marketing. My previous background was in marketing, so it's helped me a lot.
So the test is administered by the state of New Jersey.
Yes.
So you pass your test, and the idea is to try to locate a realtor that wants to take you aboard as an associate.
Yes.
So what particular geographical area do you cover?
My office, I'm with a small boutique office now. We have about 40 agents there, and I personally work through Montclair and a good part of Essex County, but I've also sold a lot of homes because Essex County is the inventory is so low here. I've had first-time buyers move out towards Union and Passaic counties looking for more inventory at a lower price point, and maybe sometimes with a little less competition, although this year it looks like we're going to have extreme competition wherever we are as a buyer.
Talking about new home buyers, there's a lot of debate sometimes about the exodus of people from New Jersey, moving to, I guess, primarily the South, and then, people debate, the numbers. Is it, real or accurate? Is it even in and out? So what do you find? I'm told scuttlebutt that you have a fair amount of people moving out to areas like Montclair and Bloomfield, most especially from the New York area, because the accessibility to the transportation, the train, things like that. Is that your kind of sense?
It is. We do hear a lot that New Jersey has this huge exodus out of it, but we're also
is that really the case?
It's almost a misnomer. There are a lot of people moving out of here, but you have to remember we're one of the most densely populated states.
We're 9 million, I think.
Yeah,
now.
I think that's what we're at about it. Yeah. So it would stand to reason we would probably have more people leaving per capita. But at the same time, because of New York and the most recent world settings, we've had more people coming in to New Jersey as well, because we have a housing shortage. Even though these people are leaving, they're getting their houses sold. And we're averaging anywhere from 4 offers to maybe 40 offers on a house if it's in the right neighborhood where it's close to a train station or a bus station into Manhattan, or close to the schools that they need to be in for different reasons. A lot of people are still leaving the city areas. They want yards. If they're going to have families, they want to have the yards. They realize they don't want to live in these 2-bedroom apartments anymore, not have the outdoor space, and not have, they got used to it, being able to stay at home. And a lot of people have put more money into their homes, so
Yeah.
they're getting
It
used.
seems to me, somebody buying a home or trying to locate into neighborhood, if they have children, of course, they think about the school system. People kind of check that out to see how it's rated and how the performance of the pupils are. Law enforcement is in the back of people's head, how safe the
Yes.
area is. You mentioned about the issue of recreation parks and programs for kids. What other factors you think weigh in? Of course, taxes is always.
Taxes is always a big part of it.
Well, how do you get around this? New Jersey, unfortunately, has the reputation of being high as far as property taxes is concerned. But what other factors play into this whole decision-making process about a home?
Well, I like to remind a lot of people that yes, the taxes are high, but we get a lot more in New Jersey for our taxes. We don't have volunteer. Well, we do have some, but for the most part, we don't have all volunteer fire departments. We've had paid fire and police departments. That we haven't been regionalized in a lot of those, and I know that's a big debate in different conversations on whether or not to regionalize those services. But most towns around here have full-time, year-round parks and rec departments and different services for their seniors and even the preschoolers. There's all different programs in towns, and all of that is what your taxes pay. You're not just paying to have a mayor and a town council tell you can't park somewhere. Your taxes are what's giving you your schools and your parks department, and it's giving you your Pee-wee and your Little League baseball and football and some of the gymnastics classes that are offered by the towns. So the bigger picture is we do pay a lot of taxes, but we do get a lot back for them. Or I have people that have left the state and moved down south in the past 2 years or so, and they call back and they
Is
say,
that South Jersey or South United States?
South of the United States. And when we call and check in and they say, oh my gosh, I'm paying for garbage pickup, I'm doing this, my taxes are only $1,200 for the year, and I get jealous.
Of hidden fees.
But then I remember that they're paying for a garbage pickup. They have to pay a snow plow, not just for their driveway, but for their street as well. And it gets a little more convoluted and complicated for them when they get down there. These are things we don't think about. But on the flip side, when somebody comes in from the city and they realize they don't have to pay all these extra little fees, they're thrilled to death that we just wake up in the morning and our streets are plowed, or we can send the kids to the parks. And
you mentioned before that your firm is a boutique firm. Why deal with a firm like yours versus some of the large-scale firms? What advantages are there, dealing with a smaller firm? Is it maybe the more individualized service or attention on the realtor's part? I mean, what happens?
My office, we actually used to be a franchise of a bigger company. And when our franchise license came up for renewal about 4 or 5 years ago, our owner and manager had some discussions and they talked it over with a few of us in the office. And as agents, we had to pay individual franchise fees as well as the company franchise fee. And we all decided to opt out of it. We weren't getting the special attention we needed in this. New Jersey is a unique little market, especially in the Montclair, East Orange, Bloomfield areas. It's
unique in what way?
We have the New York buyers coming in. We have buyers coming in from Pennsylvania sometimes. They're coming in for schools or jobs. And they tend to be a little bit more aware of what they need or that they're looking for something. And they want this extra attention. They're coming from a big area or from a, or I should say they're coming, not knowing anything. They want the extra attention. They don't want to be bogged down by us having to fill out extra forms for a big brother type company. As a boutique agency, we're able to give this extra attention. As a boutique agency, we tend to have higher producing agents because our owner is able to give us more marketing dollars on our own. He's able to give us bigger splits, which in turn we're able to pass on into our marketing plans for our sellers. We're able to help put up buyers. If a buyer comes out of town, we might be able to put them up in an Airbnb for a night as opposed to them staying in a cold hotel, so to speak, and they get a better flair for the area.
All those amenities probably do pay off, I would think.
Yeah, so when we don't have to pay this extra franchise fees, either as an individual agent or as a company, we tend to have more marketing dollars and money to put out for our clients and give them the extra attention they need.
The type of homes that you have available now, my experience over the years, with realtors, with first-time buyers, especially young people, they might encourage them to consider a two-family because they had the ability to get some income to pay for the mortgage and build on to the next step. Do you even have that many two families anymore? Are they difficult to come by?
They're very difficult to come by.
They use it for investment purposes.
Yeah.
People might have 1, 2, 3, 4 two families, and make a livelihood out of owning two-family homes.
That's probably one of our bigger buyer pools in the area, especially now with the lower interest rates. And I know they're spiking up a little bit, but they're still in the single digits, and they probably will be for quite a while. A lot of the multifamilies in this area, as you know, living here, were single-family homes converted into apartments. They were broken up, probably, most likely they were broken up into separate apartments after World War II, when we had the first big housing boom. So we do have some, but it's still our smallest pot of inventory. And when those type properties come on, they get snatched up very quickly. There's the first-time buyer that wants to buy a multifamily or multi-unit property because, like you said, they can help use that rental income to purchase the house. But we also have investors that maybe already own a primary home but want something to have as income and invest in real estate. So it's much harder to come across those homes. And when they do sell, I have yet to hear of one that has had less than 20 or 25 offers on it in this area.
That's unbelievable. As compared to maybe 3, 4 years ago, I mean, do you see a dramatic change on that as far as people bidding for properties? They seem to be outbidding each other.
They do. I've had buyers say to me, I don't want to get involved in these bidding wars. I don't want to overpay for a home. And I have to remind them that, it's a supply and demand issue. There's not enough supply, so the demand is bigger. But I don't want my buyers or anybody to really feel that they've overpaid for a home when 4, 5, 6 other homes in that neighborhood have previously sold with multiple bids and at a higher number. And if it's something you really want and it's the home that you need, you're going to pay what the market is commanding, unfortunately. And it's a tough choice to make. Do you put yourself in a position where maybe you don't overpay, but you're going to really tighten up your purse strings to keep this house or to get in there? On the flip side, I have many buyers that might be in a $500,000 price range, but they start looking at homes that are $400,000 so that they can bid that up and maybe make some improvements to the house and build more equity into it.
Okay, well, real estate is buying and selling. So hypothetically, I want to sell my house. Is there a timing element on this, or are there things that I should do in terms of preparing a house for sale? With the bushes and the paint job and fixing the kitchen and the bathroom, like the normal things that, non-real estate people hear all the time.
Right.
So maybe start, the issue, I want to sell my property. How did I figure out the right price? They consult with people like yourself and say, like, what's going in in the neighborhood, or give me recent sales and give me a ballpark number what you put on the market?
Yeah, so what we would do is we'd do a quick walk through the house, decide if there's any improvements that need to be done, if it's cosmetic, if it's
Well,
something
people don't want to
mechanical.
put a lot of money
They
into
don't, but there are some things that need to be done. If your house is neat and clean,
Well,
and-
I'm going into a house. I'm going to buy
Okay.
a house. What's the first thing you find people want to look at?
usually the
bathrooms,
kitchen or the bathrooms.
Yeah.
So those you want to make sure that those are, well, we hope everybody's keeping those clean, but you want them neat, look as spacious as possible, keep the countertops cleaned off, organize the cabinets. If you have a table with 6 chairs in it, maybe take a couple of chairs away, make it look a little bit bigger. In your bathrooms and even in your basements, make sure all your plumbing is up and working. You want to, those are your biggest expenses in any home. So you want your mechanicals working. I often tell a lot of first-time sellers to do their own home inspection, much like a buyer would do on their home. Hire somebody, it's going to cost you a couple $100. They come in about 2 or 3 hours and give you a synopsis of everything that's going on in your home.
They'll check everything
They
out.
check everything out. They check out the heating, the electric, the plumbing. They'll look at the roof age. They'll look at your foundation. They look at the garage. They'll do your wood destroying pests inspection as well, so you can have that done and taken care of. So when you do put your house on the market and you've gone through the staging process where, we might remove a couple of pieces of furniture and rearrange the layout, you've now know that your heating system is maybe 15 years old and it has a life expectancy of 30 years. So that shouldn't be too much of an issue for a buyer. That's a good thing. But maybe your garage is a little older. So you can either have that fixed or offer a credit, but you can price your home accordingly and know these things ahead of time and help save headaches for yourself during the second negotiation phase
Well,
after
do
a
you
home
find
inspection.
that there's some environmental issues that crop up these days as compared to 20, 30 years ago?
Well,
is that more of a factor? You got to watch oil tanks, things of this nature?
yeah, I think people are much more educated now with the internet. They're always on a Realtor.com learning and seeing different things. Underground oil tanks are always an issue. A seller is guaranteed they're going to have to remove that. No buyer's going to buy the home with an underground tank. You don't know the condition of it because it's been underground.
They need certificates that
So they need
that the tank was removed properly, correct?
from the town and the state, that everything was taken out and that there were no leaks. You want to make sure there's no asbestos or radon gas in the house, and there's different tests for those. You want to sell a healthy house, and asbestos, as we all know, can be a dangerous factor in lung cancer. So, and radon too. Radon is odorless and colorless. We don't know if it's there or not, so they test for that. We keep carbon monoxide and smoke detectors in our house, so we know if that ever becomes an issue.
So you're saying if you're buying or if you're selling, you should have a home inspection done?
I think it's a good idea. It's a relatively inexpensive.
You said 200-300?
Yeah, it's when you're a seller doing it, it's a little less expensive than when you're the buyer doing it, because you're doing it for information purposes to prep your home. But it's probably average between $300 and $500 for either one of them. But it gives everybody a peace of mind, because now as a seller you'll know what to fix or what to prepare a buyer for, or you may find out that there's nothing wrong with your house, and you're probably the luckiest person in New Jersey. We have old housing stock. I've yet to find a house that doesn't have some little issue somewhere.
Yeah, I noticed, like with the New Jersey Real Estate Commission, they have stipulations about continuing education programs. I'm not sure the amount of credits that you have to acquire each year or every couple of years, but like the new courses being offered, or I guess to deal with changing times. What are some of the areas that they're requiring you to learn more about or get updated on in this era?
Yes. So continuing ed started about, I think it was 8 years ago, and it's a 2-year cycle. We have to do 12 credits of it every 2 years.
So each course is worth 2 credits or 3
It's
credits?
about it. Yeah, it depends on what the course is.
Yeah.
They build it up, and it's broken down. We have 6 core credits, 3 3 ethics, and 3 are electives.
And
So we always-
like an ethics course, what would that consist of? Like, in other words, being honest with the potential buyer?
Literally, one of the first lines in our code of ethics is the golden rule that we all learned in kindergarten: do unto others as you would want them to do to you. So that is it, and it's making sure that we know how and when we represent somebody.
So you're supposed to tell a potential buyer, well, this plumbing system is not the greatest.
Well, we're
You
not all of us are, I can't necessarily say, I'm not a plumber, so I can't necessarily say it doesn't look that great. I might say I would have an expert come in and look at this. I would tell a buyer this. I said, you're going to do your home inspection, let's do that, but we might want to have a plumber come in and look at those toilets in the basement because they don't look like they're up to code.
Do you cover yourself by suggesting a home inspection, and then if something comes up down the road, say, well, you did have a home inspection. That was he let it fall through the cracks.
I think it's an education for the buyers or the sellers, and I think if, as somebody who's trying to educate my clients and as well as protect them, I try to get them as much information. And if bringing in other experts to help the cause, I'll do that. In 25 years, I've looked at a lot of houses. I've seen a lot of ugly basements, so I do get an idea when something is not right or
okay.
Or
So
if it looks okay,
you
but-
mentioned about ethics courses, which
Yes.
is continually changing.
yes.
What other areas you have to think about?
With the ethics, we have our agency. When you're representing a buyer, you represent just the buyer's interest, and the same goes with the seller. We could be a disclosed dual agency situation where you represent both sides.
You're not supposed to do that.
It is allowed in New Jersey. I'm not always comfortable doing it. It's hard to be
Serving two
serving
masters.
two masters. It's definitely hard. I'm come from a baseball family. The umpire can't be a fan of the pitcher, and the batter. So somebody has to
Differentiate.
to differentiate. I do have a relationship with a couple of realtors and other companies. If that happens, if I have somebody that wanted to buy my own listing, if I had a listing, I get somebody outside to give them their own fair representation, because
Okay.
I want everybody to be happy
Keep
and
an arm's length.
and have the same level of trust with their
What
agent.
other types of programs you have to keep up to date with? I mean, with the market. How many real estate agents would you think there are in New Jersey?
Oh, I think the last time I saw the number was something about 9,000. We're somewhere between 8,500 and 9,000.
Is it me, or is it do women seem to be more attracted?
It does. I
You
think
know,
it's-
it seems to me when you look at some of the ads in the local papers, and they'll have the agents detailed, and it seems to me the preponderance are all women.
It is. It has become a more woman-dominated field, and let us have that. We can have one. Ironically, though, it was only in the past, and my timeline might be wrong on this, but it's only been about the past 50 years that women were even allowed to be paid as realtors.
Only in the last 50 years?
50 years or so, where we had everything, and still today, everything is paid through your broker. When the brokerage gets the money and they pay us, but women were not allowed to be paid as realtors. But it's an easy field for women to come in if they're coming back into the workforce after having children. They can do it part-time for a little while and get to know the business until their children grow up and they can get into it full-time.
With information, and I know that, making a investment in real estate is perhaps the biggest financial decision for ordinary folks. If they want to learn more, are there hotlines or realtor boards where if people had questions they not sure the answer of, that they can get information about the right way to take? How would they go about that? Or just call somebody like yourself, a local
they're
realtor?
always welcome to call their local realtor, call myself. I've mentored a couple of new agents and have helped bring them on board. In fact, I'm getting ready to mentor somebody who just is out of college and he's not sure what he wants to do. He's done a couple of things.
He's going to make this his full-time
He
career?
thinks he is. He's going to shadow me for a week or so and see if he wants to do that.
Yeah.
For sure. It's hard, though, because you got to remember it's all commission-based, so it's a hard industry to start that young at and not have a salary coming in all the
Yeah.
time.
You know, the gun again.
In this day and age, especially.
Is a gun again against your head there, really, as far as with that. So
Yes.
it's so to our viewers that are listening to the Giblin Report, you know, we have with us Barbara Hughes. What's the name of your firm again, Barbara?
Village Square Realtors
Located.
in Montclair.
Okay. Well, what would you advice would you give to people to, you know, should they ever try to sell a house themselves? Is that the best route, or is that there's got some pitfalls there?
There's a lot of pitfalls there. You have buyers come into your house, you don't know if they've necessarily been vetted or pre-approved for a mortgage, so they could just be walking through your house and wasting your time because they can't afford it. The biggest thing, though, is if you don't use a realtor, you're not getting the most exposure for your property, for your product. It's a realtor's going to put it on the multiple listing service, and it'll go out to those 8,000 or 9,000 realtors in the state, as well as getting onto all the real estate websites, and you'll get more exposure. So more exposure, more viewings, and hopefully more offers.
Well, I want to thank you for taking this opportunity to talk about your profession as
Thank
a
you.
realtor. You mentioned 25 years.
25 years this week. I
Right
can't believe
after
I'm
high
that
school,
old.
huh?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. But seriously, it's an important area, and there's plenty of action these days with
Yes.
people buying and selling, and you know, things are seem to be still perking up. You know, come the spring of this year, and I want to mention to our viewers that, you know, if you have any pressing issues that require my attention or any questions regarding current state New Jersey legislation, you can contact me by phone at 973-779-3125 or email me at assemblymangiblin@njleg.org. Or for additional information, you also go to my assemblymangiblin.org website. Thanks for watching the Giblin Report. And remember, if it's an issue to you, it's an issue to me. Look forward to seeing you in the future.